absolutely shocking. I forgot my camera today, even though I got it fully charged, good memory stick. I left it on the side before I left. So today I'm going to put the VW adjusters in that front torsion bar so that we can actually raise the car a bit, because at the moment it is on the floor and almost undrivable. I've managed to drive it around the yard and that. I'm trying to wear the frame down. There's like a pinch weld in between the wheel tubs and the chassis, and there's about this much of metal along the bottom which doesn't really need to be there. It's just like a pinch weld section, so I plan to cut that out and then obviously seam weld along it, because I'll be cutting out the spot welds, but I think it's more fun to just let it wear down for now. I won't be driving on the road anytime soon, not like that. Obviously if I was to drive on the road it'll be raised a little bit and it won't be obstructing the floor and hitting the floor and bashing everywhere like it is at the moment. I'm just having so much fun in it driving around the yard as it is. So yeah, the plan is to do that, and also I do actually need to cut into the rear floor pans so the wishbones can raise about another 30mm to get it dropped a bit more. I've got new tyres on their way. They should come today, so if that's the case I can fire the old tyre machine up at the next door's unit and try and get them fitted. And then we can dial in the fitment and dial in everything ready for Retro Rides Weekender, which is in 2 weeks time. And that's the first show it's going to go to. I'm not sure if I'm going to drive it there yet or trailer it there, but I'll probably trailer it there as I don't trust it so much. But I fitted the electronic ignition yesterday and now it runs mint. I've got a carb on it, so I'm not sure if I'm going to change the carb yet, as it seems to be running fine as it is, but apart from that, she's mint. Just put a plank up so I can see the lowest point where these bolts are going to sit, and then trying to figure out a way to stop the caster coming so far forward, because the arms sit at such an angle that it brings the wheel right forward, but there's not much I can do about that, to be honest, unless we raise the beam as well, which can be done, but I'm not going to do it on the floor. I'll do it next year sometime when I go to body drop it. Well, I've marked up where I need to cut, so I'll cut them out and I can work this in. I've also marked up the lowest point of travel to the point where it hits the floor, so when I weld this on I can line the bottom of that to it, so I know how far to go. But I'm just going to do one at a time and then see what happens. Right, that's now cut. So there's the old seal, get that pushed out. Right, so what we've got in the kit, which goes inside, actually does fit if you put them in at an angle. So yeah, I'm going to use that. I just need to figure out where that will be in relation to the old one when it was on there, so I can figure out what height to put it at. The difference between how the bolts line up is marginal, so I'm not even going to bother, because you know, that's how different they are. So the only difference is this one's slightly thicker because the profile of these are slightly thinner than the beam, so that will all work alright. the attack mode. That's better, isn't it? Nice beefy welds, that's what we like. Happy with that. Yeah, so here's the beam. On the end, see, as you see, I'm moving this up and down. It moves into that, which the arms are connected to. So basically, the further up this goes, the further the arms are going to move. As you can see here, if we move this up and down, the ends of these, which connects to these, move up and down, which are the arms. So you can have the car that basically controls the height. The lower down that is, the more angle. So what we can do is we can put a bolt in here. Put a bolt in here. As we screw it in, it pushes up, which in turn turns these and lowers the car. So we just need to put a bolt in here, clamp it in place. When we put the bolt in, screw it in, it will push against this and it will set where it needs to be. Just got to do the same to the top section now, and that'll be job done. There's no point in recording the other section. I'm going to put the music in and just get on with it. So you've got your upper suspension wishbone and your lower. Normally you've got a torsion bar that goes through the middle, which is still the same as this, and then they're fixed in the middle. Basically there's a bracket inside that's spot welded to stop everything turning, and then obviously you put weight on the torsion bar, and that's your suspension. But what we've done here is we've drilled out the spot welds and we've added this adjuster, so see this bolt can move up and down, and that adjusts the height of where the lower arm sits. So obviously when the weight of the car comes down, it will be on the bottom point, but if I want to raise the car, I can put a bolt through here which will push this upwards, which will in turn lower the arms, and then there you go, free lowering. I don't know anything about these cars. I've put the front back together. There's a lot of play here. Like a lot of play. I'm guessing it's the way I've put it back together. I noticed I think I need to press this in a bit more, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the whole thing off and then build it on the vise, so there's no play. I think I know where I've gone wrong. There's some, what would you call it, where the bolt comes through, everything's at an angle, so you can sort of adjust. I just don't think I've got it on tight enough, so I'm just going to take the whole lot off though. There we go, look. So where the bolt goes through, obviously I need to get it going through as low as possible to eliminate the play. That makes complete sense. But yeah, I've taken the hub off so I can sort of understand it a bit better. So it'd probably be better to do that with most things because I don't have a clue about this car. So there we go. But that's that problem solved. I am learning lots. I would normally do it on the bench, but it's nice out. So I've noticed there's an Allen key bolt in the end. We can put the Allen key in, and then that holds that tight, and then we just twist this. Obviously it follows the contour of the, so I guess just tighten it until the play goes, which just makes complete sense. Look at the play in this one is just unbelievable. But yeah, I'm glad I've learned that today. That's some good. I've replaced the bolts with these. I'm going to get some high tensile bolts for the future, but this is just to get it to the show on the weekend, which I'm only towing it and driving around the car park, so you know, it doesn't need to be great, but it's better than what was on it, because it was cross-threaded as well. 50-year-old bolts, you know. Also, the reason why I'm training it whenever I'm not driving it is because the front brake cylinders leak, the rear cylinders leak, but I've just realised there's no thread that comes through the banjo. Hardly any thread, and that's obviously why. So I'm hopefully going to get some longer banjos, because it's cross-threaded, but well, it's not cross-threaded, it's pulled the thread out, but just on the end. So I'm hoping that if there you go, there's some thread there. If I get some longer banjo bolts, it should actually reach quite deep in there, because there's a lot of thread in there left over, but obviously that's not really good enough to pull from. So yeah, there we go. Next day, he's back. Come bearing gifts. New tyres, the smallest tyres I could possibly find. 145 60/13s. Currently has 145 80/13s on. I've also got some smaller tyres for the rear. I mean, they're not smaller. They're just not as balloony. I've got 155 65/13s for the rear, when previously it had 145 80. So yeah, so that should get rid of the balloon in a bit, and then while still keeping the speedo relatively the same. But the main reason I got the smaller ones was so I don't get all the rubbing on this part of the arch, because annoyingly when the torsion bars come up, they're coming up so much they're also pushing the wheel forward into the arch. Not much I can do about that, excuse me. Not much I can do about that unless I make some serious modifications with raising the mounts for the torsion bar, which is something I am going to do, just not this year. You know, I just want to get this car lowered, done, and so I can start enjoying it. I don't want to mess about with it too much, because obviously the larder's the main project, and that gets priority until that's done. And then I've got the camper van, which gets priority after that. And then maybe this will get, maybe, if I keep it, I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, that's the current. So I need to fit the torsion bars back, but first of all I'm going to fit the new tyres. I'm going to attempt to anyway, because this tyre machine ain't great, but that's the plan. And see if we can get something going on with tyres, and then them tyres I guess will go on the larder spare wheel. Yo, it's been about 2 days since I picked up this camera. It's been busy, I've been excited. Update on the car, it's now ready for Retro Rides Weekender. Spent a bit of work on it, lowered it a bit more, raised it, been sorting the suspension out. Went to fit the new carb and it was the wrong one. Went to change the gaskets. All the brand new gaskets on this carb were shot and someone siliconed them together, so didn't do that. Had a friend over to set the timing up properly, and tell you what, alright, considering I don't even need to go in there and dump fuel in the carb. Oh, sounds just like a V4 shed. Oh mate, I'm well happy with this. As you can see, I've been doing a lot of adjustments, getting her good, but she's ready to roll.